Hello YouTube friends! So I'm going to do a video right now telling you guys about a tarot deck that I got for Christmas that I somehow, for some strange reason, totally forgot to show you guys when I did that little video earlier, like, about everything I got for Christmas. I'm an idiot, so I apologize. But it's so cool that I'm going to devote a whole video to it, basically. And then after I do that, I'm going to kind of update you guys on some of these other topics that I think I'm going to talk about sometime in the near future. So if you don't care about that part, I will kind of like tell you when to turn the video off so you don't have to listen to me babble about that. But for now, let's get to the point. I got a tarot deck for Christmas called the Book of Shadows Tarot, and this is by Barbara Moore. This is the book that explains it. This is kind of complicated, so I'm going to explain this as best as I can. Try and follow me. This is the box that it comes in. This is made for an as above and a so below deck. It's a Wiccan tarot card deck specifically, and it really is unique. But at the same time, it's exactly like every other tarot deck you've ever used. And I know that's kind of weird. But the thing to know about this is it's made for two different tarot decks. It only came with the top one. The second one is not out yet, but all of the card, like what the pictures look like and all their meanings are in this book. I don't know why they didn't just put both decks in there, but whatever. I am not their marketing person, so I have no idea. Anyway, I absolutely love this deck. I think it's really cool. And the neat thing about it is, like, every card that you know from the original tarot deck, it's still the same in this, except not. And what I mean by that is, like, the Emperor and Empress, for example, are the god and the goddess, but with basically the same meanings. And what I really like about this is it's just way more intuitive somehow for me. And I think that's because I can relate it to something else. A lot of times you learn better when you can relate one thing to another thing. So it's a lot easier for me to sort of intuitively read these cards instead of having to flip through a book and look up meanings, because I'm one of those people. So I think this is cool though, because they have, like, for every holiday on the Wheel of the Year and stuff, there's like a corresponding card. And I think my favorite one that I've seen so far is like Yule is death. And I just was like, oh, that's super clever. I think that's awesome. But every suit that there is, so like the cups, the pentacles, the wand, the swords, those all correspond to an element. So I thought that was really neat too. But the artwork on these are just, it's gorgeous. I don't know, and I don't want to be one of those people that flips through and shows you every freaking card in the thing, but I just think that it's amazing looking. And if you can just sort of see this is the quality of every card, basically. They're all beautiful. So I highly recommend the As Above deck. I believe is the one that this one is. I don't really think I would like the other one as much. It's a lot more manga style artwork, and it's very much more like mundane life as a pagan, versus this is more like very spiritual fantasy styled cards. So if that matters to you, you might want the other deck instead. But I think this deck is really, really awesome, and in particular, the reason I'm plugging it so hard is I used it 3 weeks now? 2 or 3 weeks ago? Last time there was a full moon. I used it, and long story short, me and my fiance had a huge falling out with his mother over our wedding planning, and I was really stressed. We had to drive 3 hours to basically go back to Kansas City to tell them to butt out, and they're not allowed to be part of the wedding planning anymore because they were causing so many problems. So I was very worried about that, and I decided to do a tarot reading the night before we left, and I was just stunned with the results. And I honestly think that if I hadn't done the reading, things probably would not have gone so well, because I felt really prepared walking in versus not really knowing what the heck was going to happen. So, but it was cool because I did like 3 different like spreads. Every single time this card popped up, and I just thought that was crazy, because if you look, this is a giant deck, and I shuffled the crud out of this every single time. So this is the Mother of Fire card, and I'm pretty sure that's like the Queen of Swords, I think is what that was. Anyway, it was really cool to me. So if you're looking for a different kind of tarot deck, something sort of fun and different, but at the same time, if you already know tarot really well and you don't want to get too far away from like the meanings, you know, with like an oracle deck or something. This is kind of like a really happy medium, I think. So you might give it a try. And if you have questions about it or something, or you like want to see more of it, I can sort of show you stuff, like, or answer your questions before you pay money for it. So if you have questions, don't be shy. So now, if you don't want to hear me ramble about future videos and whatever, this is the part where you turn it off. So I warned you. So the first things first, I'm gonna do a video here in the next couple days. I just learned like 2 nights ago, I think, I figured out how to splice videos together. So I made myself like an introduction, but it's way too long, so I'm not actually gonna put it in the videos yet, but I figured out the program basically. But I'm leaving to go somewhere tomorrow where I'm gonna be filming kind of on and off throughout the day. So I'm gonna make a video that details like what happens with that. And I'll kind of give you a little backstory there with that. My fiance has been begging me to go to what's called the Battle of Nations tryout tournament, basically. If you know about SCA, you might know about Battle of Nations. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm sorry. It's like, it's medieval combat reenactment. But when I say reenactment, it's not really, like, they fight with lifesteal. There's a really sort of complicated rule system. And you more or less get to compete to make the United States team. If you make it, you get to go compete in France against teams from a whole bunch of other countries too. I watched this online last year. It was the first time that the Americans had competed in it, and it was awesome. But the tryouts, it's only like 3 hours away from our house. So I thought it would be really cool to go, but I didn't realize at first that it was only 3 hours away. I thought it was like twice that distance or more. So my fiance really wanted to go, and I told him no. So that's not him. Okay. He's at work, so I'm kind of like leery that he's gonna hear this. For Valentine's Day, I called his boss and asked if he could have work off, and his boss was like, yeah, sure. But he's not going to tell him he has work off. So Ian's working tonight and thinks he's working tomorrow, but he is not. And I'm going to wake him up at 5:30 in the morning and just like tell him to get in the car because we're going. And he's been like so upset at me and like sad and gloomy and keeps mentioning it because we weren't going to go. So I think it's going to be really funny, and I'm going to videotape him like when I wake him up. So that might make it into the video. I don't know. It depends on like what his reaction is. But I'm going to sort of show you guys like what we do tomorrow as much as I can, so you can kind of see what this actually is. So that's one video I'm doing. Another one, somewhat similar, is the, like, it's another sort of medieval combat reenactment sport, but it's with foam weapons, and we're very lame in comparison. But I do it with my college and stuff, like we run the club, so I'm going to videotape that at some point and put that up hopefully within the next few weeks. We're doing like a promo thing on Monday, so maybe sooner than later. And I'm so excited. My ghost hunting equipment, like everything, finally came in. But it's in Kansas City, so I have to wait until I go to visit my family, which is not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. So I will, within like 2 weeks, I should have everything, and I can show you guys all the stuff I got, and it will be awesome. So, those are 3 videos you can probably expect from me in the very near future. Maybe something else between now and then that I'm just not thinking of, but that's my goals right now. So, hope you guys are doing alright. If you have questions or comments or whatever, as always, feel free to leave them. Otherwise, I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.